Hello, Charles Heflin here, and this is why most sellers make way less money than they think they're making. So I figured instead of pitching concept, I'd show you on a calculator how the numbers play out. This is a 30-day growth simulator, so what we're going to do is let's say we'll invest $1,000 into product, and let's say that $1,000 bought us 100 units, so about $10 a unit is our cost, and our average ROI per unit, let's say, is 25%. So that's usually the level of depth that most sellers go into. They say, okay, great, I bought 100 units at 25% return. I'm going to make $250 over a 30-day period. End of story. But that's not really how things play out. We need to be a little bit more realistic. You're not going to sell 100% of those units in 30 days, so let's drop this down to a 90. Now you can see your 30-day growth is actually 12.5%. Now let's say you get in a few returns. Let's drop this down to an 85%. And you can see what happens to your growth now. Now let's say you got in a few more returns, just being a little bit more realistic, and you can see that now your 30-day growth is at 0. If you continue to do this month after month, well, you can see why most sellers eventually give up, because this is not a sustainable business model. So how most sellers end up combating this is, okay, well, I'm not going to source at 25%. My minimum is going to be 30% or even 40%. Let's say you're real good and you can get this up to 50% on average. Well, you can still see that the amount of growth that you're getting for the amount of work you're doing isn't adding up. So how do you combat this problem? To combat this problem, you don't focus on ROI per unit. What you need to do is turn your attention to how many units of any particular product that you as a seller are able to sell within that 30-day period, considering other competition. This is the secret of the Amazon mega sellers, and it's the secret of Amazon themselves. They don't focus here, they focus here on how many times they can flip the revenue in a 30-day period. So instead of looking what their ROI per unit is going to be, they're looking to see how many times that they can flip their capital with that unit. So let's start playing with those numbers and see what they look like. Let's go ahead and say that you only source units that you can personally sell at least 4 of in a 30-day period. So let's change this number to a 4. So you sell the unit once, you take that capital and you reinvest it, and you sell it again, you take that capital, reinvest it, sell it again, you do that 4 times. You don't necessarily have to roll that capital back onto the exact same unit, you just roll it onto another unit that has similar characteristics, whereas you can sell at least 4 of them per month. So let's get a little bit more realistic here. You're not going to be able to reinvest 100% of that every time for various reasons. So let's drop this down to a 90%. And 50% ROIs are getting rarer and rarer, so let's be a little bit more realistic here with the ROI per unit. Drop that down to 25%. So you can see that even though we're sourcing at a 25% ROI per unit, we're still growing at a clip 10% higher than that overall for the 30-day period. So that's okay, but you can do a little bit better. You can find products where you can personally sell, say, 6 units per month. And let's say you get a little bit better at spending all your money on each period, and let's drive this up to a 95%. Let's say you're getting fewer returns and you get this up to 85%. I can start to see how the numbers are looking better. And you can even start sacrificing your ROI per unit. Let's drop this down to 20%, and you're still growing at a rate 3 times larger than what you're sourcing at. So the game is no longer about holding out for higher ROIs. The task becomes how quickly can you turn your units. And all the power sellers know this, Amazon knows this, the lowballers know this, and the lowballers, they don't lowball to upset anyone, they're devising an exact strategy. They're working over here, they're worried about this number, they're not worried about this number. So they'll sacrifice ROI, they'll drop down to a 18%, for example, just to sell the unit as quickly as possible, and when they do that, this number increases. So you can see that, drive that up to a 7, what it does. Let's take that all the way up to an 8. And you'll see what it does to the overall 30-day growth. So this isn't some system or strategy. This is how the numbers play out in reality. The calculator doesn't lie. And I'm not quite sure why anybody's not teaching this stuff. Maybe they don't understand it themselves. And of course, this applies to more than just Amazon sellers. This applies to anybody in the e-commerce business. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. And I hope this has been food for thought to give you a deeper understanding of how the numbers actually play out. So contrary to popular belief, The money isn't made when you buy, the money is made in how you sell.